What up, free bro? Salvation. Hey, you got many minds. You think about salvation, get the danger. My flesh vain, it's my heart not trouble, I will pain. We trust in Abba, he the one that kill your problems. We thanking Abba, now we know about that lava. These streets of gold, walking on that road, I can't sell my soul. Hell no, I'ma be the light everywhere I go. Ain't no vaccine up in the temple. The devil know that the most I dwelling in you. They trying to shoot you up, that should really offend you.
My cry for mercy as I call on you for help, as I lift up my hands towards your most holy place. I just wanna be worthy. I just wanna be
Shalawam, Shalawam. He said, I just want to be worthy. I just want to be worthy. All praises be to the Father. Man, the water for waking us up this morning. The water's for giving us life, that we have life, that we can repent, ask for forgiveness, move forward on this day. So let's give praises, honor, glory, esteem to the Father, YAHAWAH, the Ancient of Days, the giver of life, the taker of life, our Father, YAHAWAH, Abba, and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. But in the Hebrew, we say Hamashiach, which is the anointed one, and Yahweh Shai, which is our salvation. He saves us, right? Shalawam, shalom, peace and blessings to all of the Ahchyam, all of the Achwathyam, the brothers and sisters scattered to the four corners of the earth. We say Shalawam, peace and blessings to you. The water for those that are tuned in, it may tune in at a later time. The water for tuning in, the water in Hebrew means thank you. So thank you for tuning in. But all those that are scattered to the four corners of the earth that may tune in, you can see the title. You can see it, right? Lost tribe of who? Judah. The royal line, which is spoken about all throughout the Bible. So if you allow me, once again, thank you for tuning in. I just want to share some information with you, some things that are not only in the Bible, and another op of ours that is doing the work, pushing the truth. I just want to say, you know, I may not agree with everything the brother puts out. What I mean is he uses the word Yahuwah, which brothers do. You know, some use Yahweh, some use Yahuwah, some use Ahchyam, you know, and that has to do with the vowel system and things that were created later on in time through the Masoretes. But that's a whole nother story. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's dive into it. Once again, the water for being here. Thank you for being here. All praises to the Father and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, once again, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Now let's dive into it. I'm going to show some footage, but before I show the footage, I want to go to this scripture and I want to read this. So if you hear, and anybody that may be here, we're going to be at 2 Chronicles chapter 7. 2 Chronicles. I'm going to just get right to the meat of it so we don't go too far into it. I'll start at 13. Of course, this is the Most High, and he's talking to Solomon, right? You can start at verse 11 if you can see he's speaking with Solomon. If I shut up the Shemayim, that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people. So people in general are always speaking about how the Most High doesn't hurt his people. The Most High wouldn't do that to his people. He's telling Solomon right here that he can shut up the rain. He can send locusts to devour the land and pestilence among the people. Verse 14 says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. This is what we have to do. We have to turn from our wicked ways, right? Just as our forefathers lived in wickedness and they didn't turn from their ways and they were punished. The same thing is occurring here today with us. But the Most High is telling us, if my people, which are called by my name, these are his people, shall humble themselves. That's all we have to do is humble ourselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wickedness. It says, then will I hear from the Shemayim and will forgive their sins. All praises to the Most High that he will forgive our sins and will heal their land. Now my eyes shall be open and my ears attend unto their prayer that is made in this place. For now I have chosen and sanctified this house, speaking about the temple that Solomon built, that my name may be there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And as for thee, if thou walk before thee, or walk before me, Salakia, as David thy father, told you we're speaking about Solomon, walked, and according to all that I have commanded thee, thou shalt observe my statutes and my judgments. Then will I establish, Salakia, the throne of thy kingdom, according as I have covenanted with David, thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man to be ruler of Israel. But, he's saying, but if ye turn away and forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other deities and worship them, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land, which I have given them. So we was given that land by the Most High YAHAWAH. And he's saying, if you don't follow my law, statute, and commandments, I will pluck you out. You can see it right here. And this is what happened. We got plucked out. So this is why when the intro comes in or when I speak, I say Shalawam, Shalom, peace and blessings to all of the Ahchyam, the brothers and sisters that are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Why? Because we were plucked out. Right here in verse 20, it says, then I will pluck up by the roots of my land, which I have given them, and this house, which I have sanctified for my name, will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all people, all nations. And this house, speaking about the temple once again, and this house, which is high, shall be an astonishment to everyone that passeth by it, so that he shall say, why have YAHAWAH done this unto this land and unto this house? And it shall be answered, because they forsook YAHAWAH. And that's what we have done. We have forsaken our Father. And not only that, his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi. We have forsaken. Shalawam, chapter man. Shalawam. The water for being here. Giving praises, honor, and glory, esteem to the Father YAHAWAH. The water. So once again, as we can see, the Most High is upset with us. Why? Because we have forsook him and his only begotten Son. Once again in 22, and it shall be answered, because they have what? Forsook YAHAWAH, their Allah, of their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, which is bondage, and laid hold on other deities. That's what our forefathers have done, and that's what our people have done today. They have grasped on to a different doctrine and other deities and worship them. They are worshiping other deities and serve them. Therefore have he brought all this evil upon them. So that's why we are in the circumstance that we are in. Why? Because we have forsook the Most High YAHAWAH. We have turned our back on the Most High YAHAWAH. But one thing I want to say before we get into this little short video, let me go to Psalms real quick. Psalms 135. And I want to read this. Psalms 135. You see verse 1, and I'm going to just read from 1 to 4. It says, praise ye Yahawah. Praise ye the name of Yahawah. Praise him, O ye servants of Yahawah. And that's what we are. We are servants of the Most High Yahawah, the Ancient of Days and the Giver of life and the Taker of life. We are his servants. Verse 2, ye that stand in the house of Yahawah, in the courts of the house of our Allah, meaning our power, because he gives us the power. He gives us wisdom, understanding, everything, counsel, everything we have, it is given to us by him. There's nothing that you have that has not been granted or given to you by him. Verse 3, praise Yahawah. For Yahawah, hold on, let me say this. Everything that you have been given is from the Most High Yahawah, but also remember that Hasatan uses trickery from the Most High Yahawah and try to get you to go off. So be diligent, be vigilant in everything that you do. That way you have what? The discernment to know which way should I go. Ponder thy path. Proverbs 4:25 on down. Verse 3, once again, praise Yahawah, for Yahawah is good, singing praises unto his name, for it is pleasant. Verse 4, for Yahawah have chosen who? Jacob unto himself, and Israel for a peculiar treasure. So he has chosen Jacob. Let me highlight that. He has chosen Jacob unto himself, and Israel for a peculiar, for his peculiar treasure. Now, as I showed that, let's go into this small video real quick. I want to go into this video, and it's a lot of information, but I just want to speak a little bit, like I said, about this royal line of the tribe of Judah. And all praises to the Most High that we know who we are now from the tribe of Judah. Here we go with the video.
Here's what seems hard for people to understand. The prophecy of our scattering has been masqueraded and hid from our realization because it's labeled and classified around race. And though the scattering has been seen all over the world, because our world news does not report it as so, we, the people, do not see it as so. Our plight is surrounded by labels of being black and Afro. And so I'm going to show you what I mean. As I go through this, you will begin to see a pattern. We will start on this side of the world. This whole side of the world here, in which we call the Americas and the Caribbean, it is full of scattered Hebrew slaves that are cursed. If you look at the people of South America, their plight is very similar to ours in the United States. You know how we are African Americans? This is not just a label that's special to us. This is not just how we are labeled. In South America, there are Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Venezuelans, Afro-Colombians, etc. They are all scattered down here with this type of label. You know, my mother-in-law recently had some Brazilians come to her house to help her clean her house. She said when they came to the door, she was confused because she thought they were sisters. But then they started talking and they didn't know any English. They were actually Brazilian. They looked like our people here in the United States. Like if you didn't hear them talk, you would have thought they were Americans, but they were Brazilian. I had to explain to her that this is the scattering. This understanding is just not known or understood. You see, the media, it does a very bad job. Or you know what? Maybe we should say they do a good job, because their job is to just spread propaganda, not truth. But you know, you only know of the world that they show you and not the reality. If you actually travel and looked at the world outside of the way the media presents, you would see that the same people that are called in the United States as African Americans or black people, they are in South American countries like Brazil and Colombia, and they face the same struggles as us in the United States. And they hold the label of black people or Afro, whatever their country is. Let me show you. Let's start here in Brazil.
Brazil in 1500 was a wild and primitive land of savage animals. And the cannibalistic Indian, oldest inhabitant of the New World, predating both Portuguese and Negro by more than 1,000 years. In 1500, a Portuguese ship blown off its course arrived in Brazil. Colonists soon followed. Many were adventurers and criminals. To most, this barbaric country was a place of exile. The Portuguese came with no experience in farming and a distaste for work. A Renaissance humanist wrote, "If there are any people more given to laziness than the Portuguese, I do not know where it exists." Slavery seemed a convenient answer. The Portuguese attacked and massacred the Indian and made him the first slave in the New World. But the Indians failed to meet the rigid qualifications for slaves in the 16th century. They died by the thousands. A Spanish friar, Bartolomé de las Casas, gave up his land and slaves and returned to Spain, where he begged the Spanish regent for an end to the enslavement and slaughter of the Indians throughout Latin America. To save the Indians, Las Casas suggested an alternative candidate, the hardier African Negro. For these Africans, the Muslims, the Bantus, and the Sudanese, the trip over was the beginning of a tragic future. From 30 to 40 days, they crossed the South Atlantic. These sailing clippers were known as coffins. The slaves were kept in the hold from 5 in the afternoon until 8 in the morning in darkness. The loss of human cargo ran as high as 70%. When they arrived in Brazil, they were cataloged and sold. First, they were sent to the sugar plantation, for sugar was the unchallenged king of Brazil for many years. Then, gold was discovered, and the Negro worked in the gold mines of the New World. Almost any offense committed would result in whippings with a twisted raw leather hide. More serious crimes warranted more sophisticated punishments, such as fastening the slave for several days by his ankles or his arms. But the Negro was more assimilated in colonial Brazil than in North America. He was welcomed into the Catholic Church, where he was baptized and married. And the white colonist and Negro slave lived together intimately. Black nannies brought up the children. The Portuguese adapted African cooking. And the men who did not bring wives with them took on the Negro women as concubines, sometimes even married them. On May 13th, the Princess Regent banished slavery from Brazil as thousands of Brazilians roared their approval. Emancipation took 23 years longer, but one war less than in North America.
That's the history of slavery in Brazil. It sounds very similar to the United States history. It did not get better for them in Brazil. Again, they share the same plight. They suffer from racism the same way we do in the United States.
Racism in Brazil, one of the most diverse nations in the world, is dealing with a controversy over allegations of whitewashing. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. A telenovela or soap opera has reignited the discussion about race in Brazil. The story takes place in the state of Bahia, where nearly 80% of the population declares themselves as black or of mixed race. But all the main roles in that telenovela are played by white actors, highlighting the Afro-Brazilians' claim as lack of representation and visibility. CGTN's Lucrecia Franco has this report from Rio de Janeiro.
This is TV Globo's latest drama, Segundo Sol, or Second Sun, set in Bahia, Brazil's blackest state, with an 80% black or mixed race population. Curiously, only 4 of the 27 main actors are of African descent. The show debuted in mid-May, and its overwhelming whiteness came as a shock to Laura Mendes and her family. Laura says the network has plenty of excellent black actors, but refuses to showcase them in starring roles.
Eles só são colocados como
They are cast in menial roles such as chauffeurs, doormen, and maids. We need to see them play characters that are highly valued by society.
ocupe espaços considerados pela sociedade.
27-year-old Katia Correia is finishing her bachelor's degree in languages at a federal university in Rio de Janeiro. She was
Now, I'm going to stop it real quick, and I want to go to a couple scriptures. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say, yeah, chapter man says, scattered to the four corners of the earth. Correct. Scattered to the four corners of the earth. So, Khan, let's get this real quick, and I'm going to go to the book of Baruch. First Baruch, chapter 2. What a beautiful thing that the Most High has, even though he scattered us. Let me do this. Before I go there, let me get Jeremiah real quick, 17. And then we'll go to Baruch real quick. Jeremiah chapter 17. And this is in the book of Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4, right? It says, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from what? Thine heritage. That's why you don't know, if you, as this brother or this Akis did a beautiful work, Afro-Colombian, Afro-Brazil, Afro-American, Afro, whatever you are, Afro, that's why we're everywhere scattered to the four corners of the earth. And Jeremiah, through the Spirit, through the Rakah, is letting us know, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. What all that brother just said, all that I just said on his little short video that I just showed, this plays into it right here. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So we have been discontinued from what? Our heritage. Because we serve what? Other deities. We did things and we forsook the Most High. That's the first thing I read, 2 Chronicles 7. I started at 13 all the way down. All the way down. So we have been discontinued from our heritage. Now, let's go to Baruch, like I said. Baruch chapter 2. This is in the 1611 King James Bible. If you don't have you a 1611, I would encourage you to get you one because you're missing information if you do not have a 1611, as you see right here, the arrow pointing, King James Bible. If you have a New Standard Bible from today, you only have 66 books in it. The original King James Bible had 80 books. So I would encourage you to get you the 1611 King James Bible. This is Baruch chapter 2. I'm going to jump all the way down to verse 29. And we're going to be reading from 29 on down. And here's 29. It says, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations. Well, where I will scatter them. So who is he speaking about? The children of Israel, right? Judah will be scattered. It says right here, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And this is what's going on now. I just did a lesson a couple days ago on the Valley of the Dry Bones, right? The Great Awakening, the Shake. And this is what it's speaking about here in verse 30. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. So we shall remember who we are as a people, who we are as a nation. We shall remember that we are from the tribe of Judah or YAHAWAH. We shall remember that it is a royal line. We shall remember what Yashra Allah or Israel truly means. We shall remember that we are what? Princes. We shall remember that we come from kings. We shall remember that we are the children of the Most High. Verse 31, and shall know that I am Yahweh their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. Khan, all praises. Verse 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, which we're doing here today. Anybody that's tuned in today, I know Chat the Man is here, and anybody else that's here that may watch us at a later time. This is what we're doing. We're praising the name of Yahweh in the land of our captivities, and think upon my name, Khan, and return from what? Their stiff neck. We won't be stiff neck anymore. We will humble ourselves, and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sin before Yahweh. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be masters or Adawans of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Khan, all praises. Verse 35, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their Allah or their power, and they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel, letting you know who he's speaking about through this whole time, out of the land that I have given them. All praises be to the Father Yahweh. All praises be. Now, with that being said, let's get some of this Judah, right? So let's go to Genesis real quick for those who may not know where Judah comes from or who Judah is. Let's get it real quick. Genesis chapter 29. Of course, it says when Jacob meets Rachel, right? Jacob meets Rachel. I'm going to jump all the way down. We're just going to go right to the meat of it, right? We're going to jump all the way down to basically almost the last verse of this chapter, which would be like 35, I believe, 35, 36. Let me see. Okay, you can see it on the screen. Verse 35. And she conceived again and bare a son. Who is it talking about? Leah. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise Yahweh. So that's what the word Judah means, or in the Hebrew, Yahweh. It means to praise Yahweh. That's what Judah means. If you didn't know that. Therefore, she called his name Judah and left bearing, right? So that's why his name was called Judah, because his mother wanted to what? Praise the Most High Yahweh. Now let's jump over to Genesis 49 real quick. And those that know the classic, they may know. It's some people that may not know, though. So we're going to give it to them, right? The line of Judah, Yahweh in the Hebrew. The same line that Hamashiach Yahushai, Hamashiach, Christ, the anointed one, the same line that he's from, right? Verse 8. Let me start at 1 first so you can get the context. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Verse 2. Gather yourselves together and hear, O sons of Israel, and hearken unto Israel your father. Remember, Jacob's name was changed to what? Israel. Now, he talks to all his sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, but we're going to go down to Judah, right? verse 8. It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. So YAHAWAH, Judah, all of the other tribes shall praise Judah. That's what's written. Thy hand shall be in the net of thy enemies. That's why Judah is such a problem wherever we are scattered. That's why we're such a problem to who? Our enemies, those other nations. You can read about that in Psalms 83. But it says that Judah shall be what? In the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. For the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down and crouched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? All praises. Here it is, verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from who? Judah. The scepter, which is the authority, that's what the kings hold in their hand, the scepter, which rulership, authority, it shall not depart from Judah. It will never, ever, ever, ever depart from Judah. And this is why Hamashiach, Yahawashi, Christ, the anointed one, that's why he came as what? Anybody? He came as through the tribe of who? Judah. Khan chapter, man. Khan. When Hamashiach Yahawashi was born, he came through the line of who? Judah. You can read about that in Matthew chapter 1. Matter of fact, I'll get it in a little bit. Just give me a second. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Talking about Hamashiach Yahawashi. He's gathering what? The people. That's why when he came, he said, for the kingdom is what? At hand. He's gathering his people. Now, you may say, well, you think he's waiting till he returns, but he's gathering his people right now. So remember, the scepter will not depart from Judah. Now I wanted to show, let me show this real quick. The genealogy, we'll start at verse 6. This is Matthew 1 and 6. And it says, now read the whole thing. I'm just going here to show you that Hamashiach, Yahawashi, Christ, the anointed one, came from the line of Judah. The same line that King David was from, as you can see here in verse 6. And it says, and Jesse was David's father. If you didn't know that, the king, Salaki, and Jesse beget David, the king. And David, the king, beget Solomon, right? We know about King Solomon. That's where I opened up at 2 Chronicles 7 and 13, all the way down, of her that he had been the wife of what? Uriah. So we know that's who we're talking about, King David. Now we'll jump down. Like I say, go back and read all of this, but I'll just jump down to verse 16. And it says, and Jacob begot Joseph, right? The husband of who? Mary. Joseph was the husband of who? Mary, of whom was born Yahawashi, who is called Hamashiach, the anointed one. So we see clearly here that what? Joseph, as it says right here, was the husband of Mary. And we know that Joseph comes from the line of David. And David is from Judah. Joseph is from Judah. And this is why Yahawashi Hamashiach is from the line of who? Judah. The royal line, as you can see on the title today. The royal line is very clear here. It had to be like that because in Deuteronomy, he said he was going to send a prophet. Let me get that real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 18. This is the book of Deuteronomy in the Torah, and we'll start at verse 18. Deuteronomy 18 and 18. You can see it on the screen, hopefully. I will raise them up a prophet from among who? Their brethren. This is why he came in a body like ours. To be like who? His brethren. The Achchyam. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command. And that's exactly what Hamashiach Yahawashi did. That's exactly what Christ did when he came to earth. He said, these are not my words. These are the words of the one that sent me. These are the Father's words. So this is prophecy right here in Deuteronomy 18 and 18. In verse 19, it says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken or listen unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. And Hamashiach said the same thing. He said the same thing. So 18 and 19 shows us that when Christ came, he came as this prophet prophesied back in the Torah in the book of Deuteronomy 18 and 18. I just showed you in the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verses 6 and 16, that he comes from the line of David, or the line of Judah, right here, Matthew 1 and 16. Joseph was the husband of who? Mary. And we know this. And we know it's a royal line because even Peter speaks about it. Well, let's get there real quick. First Peter chapter 2. Right? First Peter chapter 2. Chapter man says, Khan, all praises. So First Peter chapter 2. Now, mind you, I started from Genesis, and now we're in the New Testament with Peter. And we're going to see that nothing has changed, right? I'm going to jump down to verse number 9. So this is First Peter chapter 2, verse 9. And Peter says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. See, that royal line, that royal priesthood. This is why Hamashiach Yahawashi is called what? Melchizedek, right? This is why it speaks about in the book of Hebrews and other places that when Moses spoke about priests, he never spoke about the tribe of Judah, but yet Hamashiach Yahawashi is our high priest. He's a high priest. And it's a royal priesthood, as Peter is saying. Right? You have to get this. I'm going to highlight all of it. A royal priesthood. So if you don't agree with this, then you don't agree with the Bible, that it's a royal line and a royal priesthood. And holy nation, which means to be set apart. So basically when it says a holy nation, it's saying a set apart people, sanctified, consecrated. Nation means people. It says a peculiar people. Peculiar, meaning somebody can't quite put their finger on it. These type of people, they do this and they do that. They are peculiar. They're not like everybody else. They don't do the things that everybody else do. It says that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people. And you wasn't. Be honest with yourself. I'll say it for myself. I was not. And a lot of our people are not. This is why you call yourself black, right? African American, Negro, Hispanic, Mexican, Portuguese, Brazil, Colombian. and so forth and so forth. Like the video was saying that we're going to get back into in just a second. It says, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High. All praises, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. All praises be to the Most High that we have obtained this mercy now. And now we know who we are as a people. All praises. Now, let's get back into this video a little bit because there's some more information on there. Let me see. A priest forever. Khan. All praises. You know, and we'll always be priests. Always be priests. You're going to be priests in the kingdom. You know, let's get back into the video a little bit and then we'll get back into some more scriptures. Let me show this. Here we go. Very educational. Very educational. Here we go.
I was fortunate to get here. The daughter of a driver and a secretary, she could not afford a private university. And despite hard work, her public school education was not enough to earn her a coveted spot in one of Brazil's prestigious public universities. Historically, those places go to wealthy white students educated privately. But thanks to a recent affirmative action law, she got her opportunity to study. The law, enacted in 2012, reserves 50% of spots in public universities for low-income students. Emphasis is placed on those who are of African or indigenous descent. For Katia, it's a dream come true.
Today, I am here at the university, and that is a victory for me, a Black woman from Rio's periphery. Being here is a triumph, but it needs to expand.
Katia is still part of a racial minority at the university. According to the latest official data, only 13% of Black students attended universities in 2015, though that was up from 5.5% 10 years earlier. Data shows white students at double the university attendance rates of Blacks.
Despite the significant increase in Black enrollment in universities across Brazil, the affirmative action program is not without controversy.
Darker skin has never been associated with privilege in Brazil. Afro-Brazilians continue to do most of the menial labor, earn on average half of what their white colleagues earn, and have less access to basic education. It is a grim legacy that experts say is, in large part, a result of the fact that in 1888, Brazil was the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery.
So as you hear this account in Brazil about racism and their need for affirmative action, do you really think that it's because of their skin color that they suffer the same plight as us in the United States? That they suffer from receiving low-paying jobs and less privilege? It's because of their skin color? If you believe in the scriptures, how do you apply a view about skin color over biblical curses our Father has prophesied to his people that they would have if they were disobedient? These people are all fighting for the same thing as us in the United States.
Marching with friends and classmates, Lais Nascimento is not only demanding better education and healthcare, she's also demanding equality.
Even though people say we have no racism in Brazil, it's not true. We are the majority of the population, but we don't have economic or political power.
Like most people in the state of Salvador, Lais is Afro-Brazilian. But unlike many of her fellow protesters, she didn't grow up in a middle-class family. She lives in a poor neighborhood on the outskirts of the city and is the first person in her family to ever go to university.
Brazil is one of the most socially unequal countries in the world. We're selling the image that everything is good and we'll host a World Cup, but it's a country that denies opportunity to its own people.
Brazil has the biggest Black population of any country outside Nigeria. Colonized by the Portuguese, over 10 million African slaves were sent here. Salvador was the capital of the slave trade in Brazil, and Brazil was the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery. Now, despite the fact that over 80% of the population here considers itself to be Afro-Brazilian, The city of Salvador has yet to elect a black mayor. Although Afro-Brazilian culture is celebrated throughout the country and internationally, statistically, blacks here suffer the worst when it comes to access to education, healthcare, and high-paying jobs. Even with such inequalities, Professor Fabio Lima.
Hey, I got a question, chat the man, somebody that's in the chat watching. Is it a lag in here? Is it lagging or is it okay? Is the audio good? Like, can you hear everything or is it lagging? Because I'm trying to see if it's lagging. Like, it say I got all my bars in the internet, so I'm just checking. Just let me know in the chat.
Says fewer blacks than whites are going to the protests.
Não se sentem mobilizados a irem à rua.
Now, when you look at many of these people, there is something that I should highlight. When you think of Brazilians or Colombians, you do not think of the Afro-Brazilians or the Afro-Colombians, but a definitive look. People that look like Sofia Vergara. The media and television does a very good job of keeping us with a false mental idea of the world that is far from accurate. It should be noted that the culture in South America is very different than in North America because they encouraged intermingling. In America, they were against intermingling for a long time, as this woman said in the 60s.
And evidently, he feels that they will be accepted socially. And I don't feel that they ever will be. But the whole trouble with this integration business is that in the end, it probably will end up with mixing socially. And you will have, well, I think their aim is mixed marriages and becoming equal with the whites.
And this is why we have such a different look than many of them in South America. The Portuguese in South America were different than the Irish and Dutch settlers in the United States. The Portuguese encouraged intermingling, which is why the population of Brazil, they look so different. This is also why they have such a high population of what they call black people. They mix in a great deal with the Portuguese settlers that were there and were called mulattoes. So their black population is a mixture of those who are pure Hebrew, not intermingled, and others, which is the majority, that are intermingled with the Portuguese. And that's why their look became different. Now, do you know how we have the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States because of cops killing so-called black people? Well, they go through the same thing over there. Look.
This is everyday life in Rio de Janeiro's slums. A city divided into rich and poor, black and white. In the Cidade Maravilhosa, or Marvelous City, as Brazilians call it, police massacres are commonplace. Tainá de Medeiros is a human rights activist.
A polícia não é violenta por causa da ditadura de 64. Ela é violenta por causa da escravidão que não acabou em 1888.
The police are accused of racism and brutality when fighting drug trafficking.
Realmente, nós temos uma maioria negra entre os mortos desses confrontos ou nessas ações criminosas. Mas eu não posso dizer também que há um racismo na seleção de alvos.
Brazil's history was profoundly shaped by the slave trade. For nearly...
Did you hear what she just said? Brazil was shaped by the what? Slave trade. Just like basically the whole world. We were put out, we were scattered to the four corners of the earth. And what happened? Everybody got rich. All of the countries were built up. Right? I want to say Shalawam once again, chapter man, the Achwathyam, and I'm not sure Jason if he's still in here, but Shalawam to everybody that's watching. Right? So once again, let's go over what we went through. 2 Chronicles 7 and 13, all the way down. It's important that you read that because it tells you about the curses. Let me get that real quick. Let's go back to that. 2 Chronicles, where we was. Right? We just read Peter. Let's go back to that real quick. 2 Chronicles. Because it says, I started at 13. Not going to read the whole thing again. but I'll just start at 14. It says, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves, then this is what we have to do. Remember that thing, humble themselves. Remember that. Because the same thing that's from Genesis is all the way to Revelation. It never changes. That's the beautiful thing about the Most High Yahweh. He never changes. If my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from the Shemayim and forgive their sins and will heal their land. Now, the part I want to show you is that when he tells Solomon here in verse 17, and as for thee, if thou wilt walk before me as David thy father walked, and do according to all that I have commanded thee, and shall observe my statutes and my judgments. It says, then, and only then, will I establish the throne of thy kingdom according. So he's telling Solomon that, yeah, I will give you all these things. You will have all these things. This temple that you build, I'm going to be there. My name is going to be there. I'm going to watch over that thing, over the temple, all of those things he's telling them. But you have to do what? Walk in his ways. You have to, just as David, your father. Verse 19 says, but if ye turn away and forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other deities and worship them, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land. See, people always talking about that's their land. People always saying we going home to our land. Man, that's the Most High land. That's why we got casted out. He says, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land, which I have given them. This is what you got to understand. We have been, everything that we have been given by the Most High. You were given life today. Your eyesight, being able to speak, being able to hear, being able to comprehend in the mind. All those things, all those functions were just given to you from him. And he could take them away at any time. So be thankful that you have those little things in this world that mean so much. I have given them, and the house which I have sanctified for my name, talking about the temple, will I cast out of my sight, and I will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all people. And this house, which is high, shall be an astonishment to everyone that passeth by, so that he shall say, why have Yahweh done this, or thus, unto this land, and unto this house? And it shall be answered. Here's the answer on why we are going through all the things that we are talking about today. But all praises once again to the Most High that we know who we are. If I read that in the book of 1 Baruch chapter 2, verse 29 on down already. Here it is, 22. And it shall be answered because they forsook. That's what we have to remember. They forsook who? Yahweh, the Most High, the power of who? Their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of bondage, which is Egypt, and laid hold on other deities and worshiped them and served them, just as our people are doing today in 2026 and have been doing since they let us out of slavery or even before slavery. Therefore have he brought all this evil upon them. And it's all because what did we do? We forsook the Most High. And we have not walked in his ways, his laws, his statutes and commandments, because we have been taught and told that they are done away with by who? Our enemies, the heathens. And for some reason, we believe that lie, But Peter, right back to what I was just saying, but Peter is telling us, how come we believe that when Peter You know, it's crazy. Let me read this real quick. Now that I just said all of those things, it fits perfect right here with what Peter is saying. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of man, but chosen of the Most High, right? Hamashiach Yahawah was chosen of the Most High. That is his only begotten son. Verse 5, ye also as lively stones. So we are stones and lively too, are built up a spiritual house, a Quadash priesthood, right? Don't you understand if Hamashiach Yahawah is our high priest, right? Meaning he's the top priest. We are up under him as his servants, which means we are priests too. But we are what? Quadash priests, set apart priests, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Yahawashi HaMashiach. Now listen to this, verse 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone. And this is why a lot of people, as Peter's going to say, are stumbling. A chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be what? Confounded. If you truly believe on Hamashiach Yahawashi, Christ, the anointed one, the one who walked the earth, that was from the tribe of Judah, you won't be confounded. Verse 7, unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be what? Disobedient. The ones who say that the law is done away with. The ones that say that I can eat whatever I want to eat. I don't have to do that. It doesn't take all of that. I don't have to walk in those ways anymore. That's the latter. That's the old. But you don't realize when you're saying that, or maybe you do, that you're being disobedient. And it says the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of what? Stumbling. This is what our people are doing. This is what's going on in the churches. This is what's going on in our communities. This is what's going on with anybody that is going through this process of stumbling. And it's up to us as a people to wake and shake our people up. Now, you can't make them come. But as Hamashiach Yahawashi said, you go and you tell the people. And if they receive you, then they receive me and they receive him who sent me. But if they do not receive you and they disregard the word, he says, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All you do is shake off the dust off of your feet. Because what did it say? He said, if they don't receive you, then they don't receive me. So it's not really that they're rejecting you. They're rejecting him because all you're doing is bringing the word. When they get upset, it's not at you. It's at the word. It's at the word. You have to remember that. Let me move on real quick. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them would stumble at the word. What are they doing? Stumbling at the word. Saying that the law is done away with. Saying that we don't have to keep the commandments. Well, Peter had a vision and it came down. And Paul said, listen, they're stumbling at the word. Even Peter said this in the next chapter, that they stumble over what? Paul writings. For their destruction. Being disobedient, once again, whereunto also they were appointed. So you have to remember, you can do all that you want to do, but if a person just doesn't receive it and just doesn't get it, you have to understand that that's what they were appointed to. So you can't be upset, you can't be mad, because that's what they were appointed to. You can only do what the Most High has allowed you to do. And then he says in verse 9, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a Quadash nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people. No, we wasn't. I didn't know who I was. You was walking around calling yourself African American, black, Negro, nigga, Puerto Rican, Colombian, Afro this, Afro that. You didn't know who you was, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High, which have now, Salakia, which have not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. And all praises to the Most High that we have that mercy upon us right now. All praises to the Most High. Let me show this real quick before we go back to the video. We go Hebrews 7, right? And we're going to go to 14. All praises. What do you say? Tripping, right? They tripping, stumbling, falling everywhere. Come on, all praises. Hebrews 7 real quick. Now this is talking about who? Melchizedek, right? We'll jump down to verse 14, Salakia, verse 14. It says, for it is evident that our APBTTMH sprang out of who? Judah. Of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning the priesthood, but yet he keeps saying that we priests. But Moses, Messiah, didn't speak about anything about the tribe of Judah being priests. And it is yet far more evident for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arises another priest. And I can keep going, who is made not after the law of a flesh, carnal commandment, but after the power of the endless life. For he testified, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. All praises be to the Most High, Yahawah, and his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, who's a priest forever. And as Peter just said, as I just read, if you go back to 2 Peter 9, it says that we are a royal priesthood. This is what it's talking about. A royal priesthood. This is why it's a royal priesthood. Why? Because we're not after the flesh. When you get into this, you are a royal priest in a spiritual sense. In a spiritual sense. Let's get a couple more. We're going to get ready to wrap this up. Let me go to Luke real quick. Luke chapter 2. And the reason I want to go here is because there was a man, right? Joseph, Mary. I already showed you that Joseph come from the line of Judah. That's Matthew 1, 6 and 16. But there was a man in the temple, right? Simeon. And the Spirit came upon him and told him that he won't see death, right? So we'll get into that story a little bit. Let me jump down. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to start at 23, right? As it is written in the law of Yahawah, every male that openeth the womb shall be called Quadash to Yahawah. And see, that's not true. It says every male that openeth the womb, meaning every male that come out that woman's womb. But in the law, in the Torah, see, this is why you have to know. Because it says every male. But it's every firstborn male. Every firstborn male has to basically be offered up to the Most High Yahawah. Every firstborn male is basically consecrated to the Most High. So that first child, that first son that you have will be given to the Most High. That's what it means. Verse 24, and to offer sacrifices according to that which is said in the law of Yahawah, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. What is it speaking about? It's speaking about Joseph and Mary having to go to the temple because they had this child and they have to do everything by the law. Everything. And it says right here, verse 25, and behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. And the same man was just and devout, waiting on the consolation of Israel. And the Kodash Rakah was upon him, right? The Holy Spirit, they always putting that ghost in there, right? 26. And it was revealed unto him by the Kodash Rakah that he should not see death before he had seen YAHAWAH, Hamashiach, meaning salvation, right? Verse 27. And he came by the Rakah into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child, Yahawashi, to do for him after the custom of what? The law. Everybody's in here keeping the law, but you want to say that it's done away with. But why did his parents go all through this if it was going to be done away with? And when was it done away with? When Peter had the vision? So is Peter greater than Hamashiach Yahawashi? Is Peter greater than Christ? Is Paul greater than Christ? So for you to even make a comment like what Paul said or what Peter had, or is Peter and Paul greater than Hamashiach Yahawashi? If your answer is no, they are not, why are you listening to what people saying, or why in your mind are you putting Peter and Paul over what Hamashiach Yahawashi said? And man, verse 38, then took he him up in his arms and Barak the Most High and said, so he took the child, Yahawashi, in his arms and Barak the Most High and said, Yahweh, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace. Now you might say, when people say this, who is he talking to? Well, he ain't talking to Hamashiach Yahawashi because he's a baby. And he wouldn't understand anyway. So who is he talking to right here when he said Lord? He's talking to the Most High Yahweh, the Father. And he's saying, now let us thy servant depart in peace. Why? Because the Rakah had already came to him saying you won't see death until you see what? The Savior. According to thy word, for my eyes have seen thy what? Salvation. So everybody looking and talking about salvation, well, salvation just walked into the temple with his parents. Because this man is saying that his eyes have seen salvation, which means that Christ is salvation. Even he was a child right now, he still knew that he was going to bring salvation to who? His people. Verse 31, which thou hast prepared before thy face of all people, a light to lighten the Gentiles and the glory of thy people, who? Israel. Just to let you know who he's talking about. Verse 33, and Joseph and his mother, which was Mary, marveled at those things which were spoken, because they didn't know. They know he was going to be great. And Simeon baraked them and said unto Mary his mother, behold, this child is set for the fall and rising again of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be spoken against. Yeah, a word, a sword shall pierce through thy own soul also, that the thoughts of many hearts shall be revealed. And then it goes on to speak about Anna the prophetess, but I'm going to stop right there, right? The whole thing is that Yahawashi was brought into the temple, and when Simeon seen him and held him up, what did he say? For my eyes have seen thy salvation. So how is everybody waiting on salvation or want salvation when salvation is already here? It's already here. See, we're waiting on things that's already here. It says the kingdom is where? Who can tell me where the Bible says the king? Let me see if somebody in the chat. Can anybody tell me where the Bible says the kingdom is? Chapter man says all the praises, all praises. Khan. Can anybody tell me where the kingdom is? Where does the Bible say the kingdom is? Anybody? I'll wait a second. Khan, chapter man says within you. All the time people are out here looking, searching, like he said, don't go out. When people tell you it's over there and people tell you, hey, it's in that church, people tell you it's already within you. The kingdom is within you. So you already have salvation. You're not trying to obtain it. You have it. You have it through Hamashiach Yahawashi. But see, just like James said, let's get that real quick. Let's get that real quick in the book of James, right? Remember, for my eyes have seen thy salvation. Let's get that real quick, James. Which is who? Yahawashi brother. Is that not Yahawashi brother? Do I want this one or do I want the one? Let me see. Let me see. Right here, James 1. I think I started. I just go right to the meat of it, forget it. Verse 22. It says, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourself. See, a lot of those people within those churches, camps, congregations, whatever you in, if you in anything, or you could be by yourself and still be deceiving yourself. But it says, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. See, a lot of people just hear the word, but they don't want to do. See, the thing is, when you realize that you have salvation already, right? The thing is, when you know where the kingdom is within you already. So now you know these things. It's process. It's going through your mind. It's going through your flesh. It's going through your body. It's going through your rakah. So now that you hear these things and know these things, James is saying, for if any be a hearer of the word, right? You heard it through the spirit. It's shaking you, waking you, right? Bringing something inside of you that feels so good and so great that nothing on this earth can compare to. It says, and not a doer. He is like a man unto a man, beholding himself in a natural face in a glass, basically saying you looking in a mirror. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straight away, right? Soon as he leave from that mirror, he forget what manner of man he was. And you cannot forget what type of person or man or Achwathyam you are. You are a Qadash priest from a royal priesthood. You have to a peculiar people. Yeah, so you can hear the word, but then when you hear it and it comes into you, then you will be what? As James is saying, a doer. Because you understand what it means now. You understand that you don't die. You understand that your time here on this earth is like a flower, as the Bible say, like grass, right? It's beautiful one day, 2 days, 3 days later, it fadeth away and it dieth, right? But we know that we really don't die. We just go to sleep here in this body, but we will arise again. But that rakah, it goes back somewhere else, which we know is Gehenna in the Hebrew. But in English, they may say hell, but not that place that people be talking about where, you know, he up there with the pitchfork and all that other stuff. Not that. So don't just be a hearer of the word, be a doer of the word. And remember, I just read it to you in Luke already. What verse was that? 30, 2 and 30, Luke 2 and 30, for my eyes have seen thy salvation. And we know It's speaking about Yahawashi Hamashiach. Why? Because it says in verse 33, and Joseph and his mother, Mary, marveled at those things that which were spoken. This old man was speaking all these things and it marveled them like, huh? What? Like this child? This is going to be our salvation? Yes, it is. It definitely is. It's going to be our salvation. Let me see what chapter man says. Once you know better, you do better. Calm. And that's all praises to the Most High. Once you know better, you do better. Hopefully. But we should. You know, that's what this whole thing is about. Once you know, as he say, and Peter, what we just read, right? You wasn't a people, but now you are the people. And then he called you out of darkness unto what? His marvelous light. This is marvelous that you can know that salvation is already in the earth. People are waiting on it. It's already here. So what are you waiting on? This is why it says prepare yourself now. Isn't he the door? Let me see. And then we'll go. We're about to get ready to wrap it up. Let me do this real quick. Listen. Right here. Verse Matthew 10:5. These 12 Yahawashi sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the ways of the Gentiles and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of the Shemayim in heaven is at hand. What does it mean that something is at hand? Now it is here. How is it here? Because Yahawashi was here on the earth and he's telling you it's here. I'm ready. I'm getting people ready right now. You think I'm going to get them ready when I come? No. I am getting them ready now. That's why it's a great awakening. That's why the shaking of I just did the video, the dry bones. That's why when I read in 2nd Baruch chapter 22 and 29 on down, he says what? That they will remember me in the land of their captivities. I will give them an ear and a heart to hear me in the land where? Of their captivities. And they will humble themselves. It says, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received and freely give. So stop charging people for the word of the Most High. Oh, I got a breakdown. Oh, I got a lesson for $19.95. If you can get this breakdown for $19.95. Listen, anytime, and this is mark my word. Let me see how many people are in the chat right now. I got 3 people in the chat, just 3 people. Let me tell you this. If any time on this platform, and I want to make sure you see my face, if any time on this platform you see me asking for any type of money, make sure you unsubscribe. Make sure you share that with everybody and tell everybody, because the Bible says as it was freely given, you freely give it. Remember, I said nothing is mine. Everything that I have, any knowledge, any wisdom, anything that I have was given to me by the Most High. Period, point blank. And to charge another Ak or Aqua for something that was given to you freely by the Most High through the love and mercy and compassion, and then you turn around and charge somebody here on earth, you don't really understand who you are or who the Most High is. And that's all praises to the Most High. And I want you to mark my words. If you ever hear me asking for money on this platform, make sure you unsubscribe and move on. That's just crazy. Yeah. Says Shalawam. Khan, Shalawam. Khan. Aqua Dorothy said Khan. Yeah, I mean, things like that just tick me off, you know. Khan. They do. In a real way. They do. They just be wanting that filthy lucre, you know. Let's get back to it. I'm sorry about that. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I'm not going to hold you long today. It says, provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet thieves. For the workman is worthy of his meat. And unto whosoever city or town ye shall enter, remember I spoke about this earlier, inquire who is worthy. Who it is worthy. And thereby till you go thence. And when you come into the house, salute it. And if the house be not worthy, let your peace, Salakia, let your peace come upon it. So if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, remember I said this earlier, whoever it is, your daddy, your mama, your cousin, friend, co-worker, companion, kids, whoever it is that does not receive the truth, it says, nor hear your words. When you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Truly, I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. And that's what you have to remember. You are just a messenger bringing forth the message of Hamashiach Yahawashi, Christ, the anointed one. And you have to understand, when they reject you, it's not that they're rejecting you. They're rejecting what? The words that you have brought to them through the Rakah, through the Quadash Rakah, which is the Holy Spirit. And you have to understand that. Don't take it personal. I used to, but I'm so happy and thankful that through the Spirit of the Most High, He has given me this understanding and knowledge that don't take it to heart. It's not you that they're rejecting. It's me. It's me. It's Hamashiach Yahawashi through the Quadash Rakah. If you don't know what that means, that's the Holy Spirit, which is the spirit of all what? Truth. And that's how we have to worship Him, in spirit and in truth. Let me get that real quick. And I got one more, and then we're going to close out. John chapter 4, right? The woman at the well. Right. John 4:24, it says, the Most High is a Rakah, and they that worship Him must worship Him in the Rakah, which is the spirit, and in truth. Then the woman said to him, I know that the Messiah coming, which is called Hamashiach. When He is come, He will tell us all things. So she was waiting on the Messiah. And she said, when the Messiah come, when Hamashiach Yahawashi come, He going to let us know all things. What's beautiful about this, Yahawashi saith unto her, I that speak unto thee am He. There it is. So what you waiting on has already came, been delivered, and it's already at hand. This is why He said the kingdom of the Shemayim is at hand. Rise up, all of Israel, that we know all this information now, that it was given to us by the Most High Yahweh. All praises be to the Father Yahweh. And as I get ready to wrap it up, let's go to Revelations chapter 5. Revelations chapter 5. Once again, it says it here about our big brother, right? About our friend. And you might say, well, who is your brother? Hamashiach Yahawashi. That's my brother. That's my brother. He is my Ak. I'm going to jump down to verse 5. I start at 4. It says, and I wept. Now, who is this? John. Not John the Baptist, but the other John, right? He's taken up in the Rakah, in the spirit. And he's about to say some things here. Khan, chapter man says, Selah Khan. Jay said, all praises. Khan, all praises be to the Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi. It says, and I wept much. I cried, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. Couldn't even open it. And not only that, couldn't even look at it. And one of the elders said unto me, weep not, don't cry. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of who? Judah. Man. I mean, this is so powerful right here. You could take it right now today. Even though this was in the Rakah, this is in the spirit, you could still take it today. Whatever you're going through, however you feel, when you see things, you hear people, and you feel down and you want to cry, or you are crying, you know. I know we taught in this world that it's a sign of weakness to cry, but it's not. Cry. Weep. Hamashiach Yahushai weep. He cried. And there's nobody on this planet Earth or in the Shemayim other than the Father that's greater than Hamashiach Yahushai, as he said to the Malaks, to the angels. Which one of the angels have I called my son? None of them. Not one. And if he cried, you can cry. He says, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it has been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 wakahs, or spirits of the Most High, sent forth into all the earth. So even here, in the spirit, in the wakah, up by the throne, with the elders, with the beasts, it's still talking about who? The Lion of the tribe of Judah, YAHAWAH in the Hebrew. And it came, Salakia, and he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne, the Father, the Ancient of Days. Verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 4 and 24 elders, or Salakia, the 4 and 20 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by the blood out of every kindred and every tongue and every people and every nation. No matter where you are scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, he will come and get you and take you back to your land. Verse 10, and has made us unto our Allah kings and what? Priests. Achchyam, never forget that you are a king and you must conduct yourself like one. You must act like one. Kings just don't do everything. Kings just don't do anything. They can't because they're the king. And neither do priests. Why? Because they're priests. They have given the order over to something greater and something higher, and they serve that. And we have given that to who? The Most High Yahawah and his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahushai, which is a beautiful thing because he's the one who called us out of the darkness into the marvelous light. You wouldn't know that you was from the tribe of Judah. You wouldn't know that you was from the tribe of Asher, Naphtali, Simeon, Benjamin. You wouldn't know. You would still be in darkness, stumbling and fumbling like all the rest of these people in these congregations. And we shall show rain on earth, Khan. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many Malaks round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands and thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessings. He worthy to receive all those things. Now, you think he gonna just hold all these things to himself? No, we already know that Hamashiach Yahushai, Christ the Anointed One, he shares everything that the Father gives him. He shares it with his brethren, his Achchyam. He already said, I don't look at you as servants. I don't look at you as slaves. I don't look at you as servants because what he say? Because the master wouldn't tell his servant or his slave what he has in store or has planned. He look at us as what? Brothers and friends. So all these things that he have received, power, riches, wisdom, strength, honor, glory, and blessings, we shall receive them too. Because Peter asked that, I have forsaken all. What shall we receive? He said, you're going to sit on 12 thrones. That's power. To sit on the throne is power. riches, wisdom. Didn't he tell Peter that? Strength. He said, you're going to sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Honor, glory, and blessings. Man, this is, and every creature which is in the Shemayim and on earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I say, blessing, barak, and honor, and glory, and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, the Father, and unto the Lamb forever and forever. And the four beasts said, YAHAWAH. And the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him that liveth forever and ever. Man, all praises be to the Most High Yahweh, man. This is all praises be to the Father Yahweh and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. The water, all praises, So we not lost no more. We know who we are. As it says in the book, they will remember. Let me show that one more time if I close out. They will remember themselves. I showed it earlier. Baruch 1, First Baruch, Salakia, chapter 2. And let me see what verse that is. It says in verse 35, I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. You have to remember, how did we get here? We were brought captives on ships. Don't get me wrong. Some of the Achchyam were already here, right? But then some of the Achchyam were brought on ships as slaves. We were all captives, slaves. But now we are remembering and shall know that I am Yahweh, their power. For I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivities and think upon thy name. And that's what we're doing now. We are praising the Most High Yahweh in the land of our captivities. And verse 33 says, and return from their stiff neck. We won't be stiff neck anymore. And from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before me. Once again, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with the oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be masters out of wands of it. This is what I mean, what I just read in Revelations. Baruch is telling you, you're going to be mad. You're going to have power. You're going to have authority. Wisdom. It says you're going to be masters out of wands of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. These are promises that you will have. Remember what I said? Remember that last verse, 2 Chronicles? And I asked you, I said, please remember that about humbling yourself. Let me get this, and this is the last verse that I'm going to pull for the day. 1 Peter chapter 5. First Peter chapter 5. And here it is, verse 6. 1 Peter 5 and 6. All the way from 2 Chronicles, all the way from Genesis to all the way into the New Testament, as you would say, the rock of the church, what was left behind, he's telling us the same thing, 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. That he may exalt you. Don't exalt yourself. Let him exalt you, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. For you. Be sober. Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren, the Achchyam, that are in the world. So the same thing that I may be going through is other Achs, is other Achchyam, is other Achwathyam out there, brothers and sisters that are scattered to the four corners of the earth that may be going through the same afflictions. Why? Because we're scattered all around the world to the four corners of the earth. And you're not alone. You're not alone. But all praises be to the Most High Yahweh that we know as a people who we are. What a beautiful thing, you know? And that's why I was showing some of the brother video right here as we wrap it up, you know, in Brazil. We are in Brazil.
350 years, almost 5 million captive Africans landed here. That's 40% of the 12.5 million shipped against their will to the Americas. When Brazil banned slavery in 1888, the newly freed blacks were left to fend for themselves. Many favelas were created by former enslaved people.
O Brasil teve política pública de branqueamento da população, trazer europeus para cá para branquear o Brasil, porque assim iríamos solucionar todos os problemas. E esses brancos recebiam cotas, né? Cota de terra, cota em dinheiro e tal. E hoje em dia a gente está reivindicando cotas nas universidades, cotas nos espaços públicos, cotas no legislativo, no judiciário.
Yeah. Let's leave Brazil now and talk about Colombia.
Libardo Asprilla was 17 years old when he left his 14 siblings and his hometown of Chocó in Colombia's west and set out for opportunities in the country's capital.
The cold hit me hard. I didn't have enough jackets, a few pesos in my pocket, and a head full of dreams.
Asprilla's goal was education because he saw that as his ticket out of poverty.
Hey, like I said, we can go on and on and on and on. But make a long story short, we scattered to the four corners of the earth. All praises be to the Father that he has wakened us up as he said he was. He would give us a heart and ears to hear. All praises be to the Father for that. If you had tuned in today, the water, which means thank you for tuning in. I pray that you may tune in on our beautiful Sabbath day class. We'll be going into husbands, love your wives. We will be speaking about that on this beautiful Sabbath day that's coming up. Once again, the water, thank you everybody that's tuned in, and for all those that know who they are, right? What a blessing, what a baraka it is to have this information and to know. Make sure we share it with all the people that we can, right? Let me get this before I close out. I know I said I wasn't gonna do no more, but this is the last one. It just came to mind. We're still in the book of Baruch, but I'm gonna just go to 4, right? My classic. Or I shouldn't say my classic, a classic, because it was here before I was born. And people were already reading it and preaching it way before I came. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4. If you don't know or never heard, this is in the 1611 King James Bible. I would encourage you to get you one if you don't have one. 1611 King James Bible. If you don't have that, you missing books. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, starting at verse 1. And it says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk there, or Salakia, walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated." And then it says, "Give not thy honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known to us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel." So we're told to be of good cheer. Why? Because we had that remembrance of Israel. And then it goes into verse 6 to say, "You were sold to the nations." Right. We're still in the land of our captivity. We were sold to the nations, or sold to the people, not for your destruction, though. It wasn't for your destruction, But because ye have moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto your enemies. And if you haven't read all the rest of that, please go back and read it, right? But it's not for our destruction, for we know that when Hamashiach Yahushua comes back, he will pick us out of all our land, wherever you scattered to, Khan. You know, wherever you scattered to, you will be brought back to. So we know about the royal line of the Messiah from the tribe of Judah, David, and we're not lost anymore. YAHAWAH is in the building, right? YAHAWAH is in the building. A lot of our Issachar brothers is in the building. Zebulon is in the building. Asher is in the building. We're waking up. Chapter Man says the water, Khan. The water to you, Chapter Man, for tuning in, for being here. Without you, there's no me. So all praises be to the Father Yahweh that you tuned in. The Aqua of Dorothy says, funny. This morning I was meditating on Mark 16:15 concerning South American. You did this video, and Salakia, I've even made a meme. Khan. It is crazy that you were meditating on that, and this is what was on my mind to kind of bring forth, and yet you were thinking about it. A lot of times through the Rakah, you know, we as a people, we be thinking about a lot of the same things and wanting to bring out, because I may do a lesson, and then later on or the next day, I see another Ahchyam or I see other Ahchyam out there, and they be doing lessons on the same kind of thing. You know, if it's not the same thing, it's kind of like pertaining to it. But that's the Rakah letting us know that this is the type of message, or this is the message that's going out right now, because it needs to be going out for all of the rest of the Ahchyam and the Achwathyam that really are not even spoken about a lot, you know, and it should be spoken on more. So, Khan, all praises be to the Most High for that. Mark 16:15, and he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. All praises. That's Mark 16:15. Let's get that. If I didn't just read it, I think I did, though. Let's pull it real quick just to make sure. Mark 16, verse 15. Let me get it. Mark 16, verse 15. You can see it on the screen. Once again, this is the Aqua of Dorothy verse that she wanted to bring out, that she said she was meditating on this morning. And this is what we're going to bring forth. And he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And what do you need to be baptized in? Don't say the water. You need to be baptized in that fire, fully immersed in the Quadah, right? The Quadash Rakah, Salakia. Fully immersed. Water is just symbolic, but you really need to be what? For Paul asked I'm not going to go to it because I said it's the last one, but I'll tell you. In the book of Acts, Paul ran into some of John's disciples, and Paul asked them, well, what baptism did you guys have? Because they said they never heard of this baptism of Hamashiach Yahushua. They said we were baptized with John the Baptist in the water. And Paul said, oh, no, you have to be baptized with the fire. And then Paul laid hands on them because they didn't know nothing about the Quadash Rakah. And then as soon as he laid hands on them with that fire, say they started to speak. But I'll let you, it's in the book of Acts for those who know. And if you don't know, just Google it and it'll come right up in the book of Acts. So the water for that Aqua Dorothy. And as you see, we commanded to go forth and preach what? The gospel. We have to do it. We have to. We're commanded to. So all praises be to the Most High. Like I say, that we know who we are, that the royal line, the royal priesthood, as Peter said, 1 Peter 2:9, of the Messiah. I showed that in the Bible, and we know who we are as a people, as a scattering. So all praises be to the Father Yahweh and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushai. Once again, the water for those that tune in, chapter man, Aqua Dorothy. She says, I'm not sure what symbol that is. Oh, the book. I see it. The book, right? Read the book. Read. Study to show yourself approved. Once again, the water for those tune in, chapter man, Aqua Dorothy. Jason, I believe is his name, and there was somebody else in here. Salad Bowl Roots, I believe. Everybody that's here, all praises for you being here. The water for being here. Thank you for being here. I know it's only through the Most High, through the Rakah, that you are here. So the water. And once again, before we close out, let's give all praises to the Most High Yahweh for waking us up this morning, giving us life. And for any other Ahchyam out there scattered to the four corners of the earth that may be going through something, maybe down, maybe want to throw in the towel, maybe don't have an understanding, just know that it's other Ahchyam going through the same affliction as just what we read earlier. They're going through the same afflictions all across the world. And you have brothers and you have sisters to lean on. So let's lean on one another as we're supposed to. We're one body and we have one head, which is Hamashiach Yahushua. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. And like I say, hello, y'all. Make sure you tune in on the Sabbath class at 12 o'clock Western time or what is it, Standard Pacific time. Husbands, love your wives. I see you on the Shabbat. Salabo Ruth says, hello, y'all. Khan. Jacob's Trouble. Khan. And then Chapter Man says, all praises, count it all joy. Right. Count it all joy. You know, so with that being said, all praises be to the Father Yahweh, Kwam Yasharallah, and Shalawam, and see you on Shabbat. Hopefully you tune in. See you then. Shalawam.